All right, Tim. All right, good evening, everyone. We're gonna get started. It's 6:46 p.m. Welcome. This is the ANC5A meeting for October. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. October 22nd, 2025. So we'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Sosa Garnica, can you establish a quorum, please? Sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay, the microphones aren't working. Okay, all right. I will talk loud. Oh, can you hear me now? No, okay, I'll talk loud for right now for in here. Everyone else needs to turn off their audio. Thanks. Commissioner Garnica, Sosa Garnica, can you establish a quorum, please?
Sellers,
He is excused.
5A02, Commissioner Thomas.
Present.
5A03, Commissioner Lucio.
Present.
5A04, Commissioner Hermes.
Here.
5A05 is vacant. 5A06, Commissioner Holloway.
Do you see him online?
I cannot.
It's my understanding he will be joining online, so just keep an eye out for him online.
No, he's not online yet.
Okay.
5A07, I'm present. 5A08, Commissioner Alston.
She is present. I think she's just getting attendance.
And 5A09, Commissioner Bakun. Here.
Thank you. A quorum has been established. Commissioners, you have in front of you the agenda. There is one minor modification to the agenda. Item 4E, updating the newsletter design. We are not going to be discussing that tonight. So just remove that from the agenda, please. Are there any additions or other corrections to the agenda? Can I get a motion to accept the agenda as presented with that correction?
I'll move that we accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, moved by Commissioner Bakum, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor of accepting the agenda?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the motion passes to accept the agenda. Thank you very much. Therefore, let's move forward. And so you have multiple minutes in front of you. We had neglected to, prior to now, approve the minutes from a couple of the meetings. Commissioners, you were all sent minutes from the emergency meeting on July 10th, which was just a meeting to approve funding for the protest. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from July 10th? Can I get a second?
I'll second Commissioner Tim Thomas.
Okay, Commissioner Alston made the motion, Commissioner Thomas seconded. All in favor?
Oh.
All opposed? Motion passes. Commissioners, you have another emergency meeting that we had on July 16th for the same issue. Can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll put a motion on the floor to accept the minutes from the July 16th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas for making the motion and Commissioner Bakum for second. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Commissioners, you were sent the minutes for the meeting, our last regular meeting, September 24th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from September 24th, 2025? Thank you, Commissioner Alston, for making the motion. Can I get a second? Second from Commissioner Bakum. Can I get all in favor? All opposed? It was becoming so routine. I was like, okay, let's move on to the treasurer's report. Commissioners, you were all sent the treasurer's report for the quarterly financial report for the fourth quarter. Commissioner Bakum, do you have anything you'd like to add for that? Yes, thank you.
Do you have it? Are you able to pull it up?
She's going to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, should I unmute or?
Yes, go ahead and unmute.
Actually, okay. Now there's going to be an echo. Okay. There's still an echo. Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Our balance forward was $91,546.46. We spent $680.84 on communications, 456 on grants, 7,232.81. Oh, you can't hear? Okay. Can you hear me? Does this help at all? Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. just talk about it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Communications was $680.84. Grants, 15,456. Purchase of service, $7,232.81, and miscellaneous 500. So total disbursements was $23,898.22. And we ended with $74,997.97. So this is what we're looking at as the July monthly report, but there's a quarterly report, which is July, August, and September.
Sorry, it appears as though we have the wrong document. Yep, this is the right one. Yep,
There you go.
good.
Okay.
So let me go back and just make sure we've got this correct. So our total receipts are $7,349.73,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes,
Okay, our
yes.
total funds available during the quarter were $98,896.19.
Yes.
Our total disbursements were $23,898.22, which leaves us a remaining balance of $74,997.97.
Yes.
It looks like the majority of the disbursements were communications costs and the grants that we had already approved earlier, and then the purchase of service.
Right.
Okay. Okay, commissioners, I'll start with commissioners. Do any commissioners have questions? Commissioner Holloway, who is present on the Zoom, has a question. Go ahead, Commissioner Holloway.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just questions about the quarterly financial report, right? Okay.
Commissioner Holloway, do you have a question?
That's not.
I'm trying to speak, but I can't hear anything.
Go ahead, Commissioner Holloway. We hear you
Yeah.
now.
Oh, you hear me now? Okay. Well, I didn't really have an issue. I just wanted to bring to the floor to look at where I see we have office supply. We're spending $28 and whatnot. So I just wanted to bring this issue to the floor that I think we're in desperate need of a printer and a copier in the office. I think that's very efficient that we have to, before the meetings, the secretary has to get copies and stuff. We should have that. That should be a majority necessity right now. So I would like for us to be able to address that as soon as possible.
Thank you, Commissioner Holloway. I will say that there is money in the budget and we've already agreed to provide printers to individual commissioners who need them and want them. So you can work with Commissioner Bakuma on that. There already is actually a copy machine. It's very old in the office. And so, but we will talk about that at the executive meeting in November because there's a lot more steps to that. And so we'll talk about that further. But in the interest of time, if you need a printer, we can do that immediately. So just work with Commissioner Bakum. Any other questions related to the budget? Anybody else from the community have questions about the budget? Okay, seeing, can I get a motion to support the budget?
Quarterly.
Former Commissioner Washington, please go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Good
Hi,
evening.
Commissioner Washington. How are you?
I'm good. I just have a question. because about the request for a,
You can do that.
excuse me,
He's
a
working on it.
copier machine. Is it okay if I elaborate on that since I was the treasurer prior to for several years as it relates to purchasing copier machines?
Thank you, Commissioner Washington. Can I ask that we vote on the quarterly financial report and
Okay.
discuss that at the end when we pass the budgets? Is that all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I apologize that people can't hear the Zoom. Are we working on that?
Yes, he's working on it now.
Okay.
I have a suggestion. You can repeat.
Yeah, I can try and repeat. Commissioner Washington wanted just to comment on the copy machine issue, which we will do as soon as we pass the quarterly financial reports and the budgets. Okay. So Commissioner Bakun, would you like to make a motion about the quarterly financial report?
I move that we accept the quarterly financial report for Q4 of FY '25.
Okay, Commissioner Bakun has moved. It's been seconded by Commissioner, thank you, Commissioner Alston, that we approve the treasurer's report for the treasurer's quarterly financial report for the fourth quarter for 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. Did you have something else on that, Commissioner Bakun, or was that the only?
That was the only thing, if someone wanted to mention about. the
Is it, okay, so,
Fourth
fourth
quarter.
quarter. No, this is the fourth quarter financial report. It's the end of the year for fiscal year.
Yeah, fiscal
The
year.
fiscal year, not the calendar year. So, okay, former Commissioner Washington, would you like to ask your question now?
If it's
Or
appropriate.
make your comment? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just making a comment because
Hold the mic up.
and about Commissioner about purchasing copier machines. In the past, when I was the treasurer for ANC5A, we purchased, and I think Commissioner Austin was there and Commissioner Thomas. And we purchased a copier machine. It was very, very costly. And that's the only reason why I'm commenting. It was very costly. And when I say costly, the monthly payments, the paper, all those kind of things. So I know I'm in the community. I'm not a commissioner or anything anymore, but I think that you guys are doing a wonderful job with giving grants. And I think that if you purchase a copier, it's going to take away from that effort in the future to be able to give those grants out because copiers are so expensive. And I know a lot of other commissions are talking about the same thing. What they're doing is buying individual personal copiers for their commissioners and supplying them with toner and so forth if they need to make copies or need a copier. And most of those copiers are on the Wi-Fi, so you can do wireless, you can do it from your phone or whatever. But my concern is just as a resident that I think that spending the money on a copier machine is going to be very costly over the years to come. We got stuck in one that was 5 years. We couldn't get out of it. And then we had to end up taking commission money and purchasing it outright. And it took away from our funds. So I would just like for you all to consider that. That's all. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, former Commissioner Washington. Commissioner Holloway, I'm going to have you let you have the last word and then we're going to move on. Commissioner
Hey, can
Holloway.
you guys hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
You just muted yourself.
Okay, you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hear former Commissioner Washington's concerns, but with all due respect, there are other options to be able to use it where it be costly efficient. You know, our main thing is that we can have a printer that operates as a copier as well. So we're not a couple of years ago, we're up in this year. So I will spearhead making sure that we have the proper thing. And I get it, the grant thing is wonderful, but we also have an office that's non-functional that we can't even make a copy of anything. So I think that should be a priority. And, you know, opinion is appreciated, but this is where we at right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
Commissioner Holloway, I think this is why we need to move this discussion to the executive meeting and have a discussion in the executive meeting. So we will add this to the agenda for the executive meeting for November. Thank you. Can you stop screen sharing? Okay, next item on the agenda, commission action items. 5A02 BZA case 21364 Eastern Avenue. Is Miss, what's her name?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, Elena.
Hello, this is Ileana Schindler. I am the architect for the resident at Eastern Avenue. I am ready to present.
Hold on 1 second, please. Hold on. We're gonna let Commissioner Thomas do an introduction, and then we don't have your slides. Do you have slides?
Yes, I do have slides and I can share my screen with,
You please, yeah, if you can, we'll allow you to share your screen, but I also need you to send us a copy of the slides, please. for
I
our-
already did.
When did you send those?
I sent it at
I
a
just,
few minutes ago, to the whole group.
okay, all right, we've got them then. Commissioner Thomas, please go ahead.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, once again, good afternoon, everyone. We have an application today, number 21364 of Bernard Gosby. The home address is 4826 Eastern Avenue, Northeast Washington, square 937, lot 83. Is Mr. Gosman, are you here today? They're not here. Okay, they're not here. They're asking for addition onto
Yes,
their.
we are here.
We're here
Bernard-
actually. And the
Bernard
last name
and
is
Juan are here.
Guzman.
Good, thank you. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
being here. Yeah, they're asking for addition on their house. We had a meeting, a single member district 5A02 meeting, and it was held October the 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Zoom. On that block where the Grossman live in the 4800 block, there's 27 houses. And behind them, which is Queens Chapel, there were 27 houses. So that ended up being 54 houses. And we had about maybe 12 people who came to the meeting. The architect was there, who's here today on Zoom. And we looked at, the only problem the neighbors really had was with the District of Columbia Board of Zoning and Adjustment, how they sent out the notices. Every other neighbor got a notice. Everyone on the block didn't get a notice. That was their biggest concern. As some of you may know, may not know, last month, we had one of these and we approved it. And I'm going to ask that the architect, if you don't mind today, to speak on behalf of the homeowners on Eastern Avenue at 4826 to let them know what they're trying to do. You're
Thank
up.
you, Commissioner Thomas.
Thanth you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Please.
I am ready to present. I'm going to share my screen. I just sent the request, but just
We already have it up for you.
okay. So just to let you know, this project is not an addition, but an accessory structure in the rear of the property. We're adding a 1-bedroom dwelling unit that will not be attached to the house, will not be visible from the street, and will not interfere with traffic or parking issues on Eastern Avenue. If you scroll down, you will see the site location. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see the volume of the three, like just a little section of the 3 existing houses and the proposed volume for these accessory structure. In the next slide, you will see the footprint of these 3 houses and the footprint of the accessory structure. All the requirements for zoning and building codes are met. The only issue we're falling for Board of Zoning is because the setback of the existing structure is a foot too short. So we had to request an exemption to add an accessory structure when the conditions of the existing building do not meet the requirements of zoning. But we are meeting all the requirements for height, footprint, setback, lot area coverage, and other like smaller items. So if you go to the next slide, it's a very detailed approach if you want to share with your, I mean, it's very, well, I'm not going to go through all the numbers. It's very, very boring. In the next slide, you will see the existing conditions. We currently have a garage that couldn't be renovated. So, and the image on the top, you will see the proposed volume for our building. As you can see, the houses in the front will remain intact. And like I said, the building will not be visible from the front. and will only be visible from the rear, but because we have a setback on the sides and from the rear, it will not interfere with traffic, view, security, none of those issues. In the next slide, you can see a different point of view of the same massing of the existing garage and the proposing structure. Next. In the next slide, you can see a detailed footprint of how this building will function. You can see that towards the rear, we have a living room, dining room, and kitchen. Towards the core of the property, in the next slide, please, you will see bedroom, closet, bathroom, and a vestibule with a laundry. Next slide. That's the detailed plan I was referring to. This building complies with all building regulations, from insulation to pretty much everything, mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. The Department of Buildings already approved it. Already approved all the disciplines. So we're just waiting for zoning to give us the go ahead. The next slide, you can see the roof of how this building will look from the top. We're going to have a bunch of highlights. It's going to look great. In the next slide, you see the elevations from each side. That gives you an idea of how much natural light will come into this building. None of these will invade the neighboring properties. So because the height is really, really low of this building, it's the maximum height of 12 feet. If you think about it, it's lower than the first floor of most buildings in this block. In the next slide, you can see, again, locations of buildings, how the walls that face the neighboring property has very, very limited openings. In the next slide, you can see more details of existing conditions, how we're not touching the property. And again, in the subsequent images, you can click through them. You will see shadow studies. That was a requirement from Board of Zoning. We comply with that, and it shows that the addition of this building does not have a negative impact on the neighborhood for traffic, security, access to natural light, access to solar in the future. Like I said, some neighbors had a lot of questions about, you can keep scrolling because it's more shadow studies, it's very detailed what we developed. Not a lot, but a few neighbors had issues on who's going to occupy the building. That for the time being is going to be Mr. Guzman's mother. But like I mentioned in that meeting, the District of Columbia gives the right to every citizen from Chevy Chase to Anacostia to rent the property out. So the potential of an occupant is not a limitation that Board of Zoning is going to appreciate. They basically allow you to put an accessory structure anywhere in the District of Columbia and allow an independent family to use it, whether it's a family, a rental, or other occupants. So that is pretty much it. I'm happy to answer questions. I see you have the presentation up. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions today verbally, or if anything comes up, I'm also happy to answer them in writing.
Thank you. I have two quick questions. I just want to confirm, I believe you said this, but I just want to confirm. So this is going to be used as a rental dwelling unit for the homeowner, correct?
No, the property for the time being is going to be occupied by the homeowner's mother.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for clarifying that. And then Commissioner Thomas, I just want to confirm, I know you had a single member district meeting where the residents of the homeowners that are directly next to the property at that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and they
Well,
were,
all right, let's be correct. One house is vacant,
okay,
and the other house, if the homeowner's there, they didn't come on the stream. They did not come on.
okay. Do we know for a fact, has the homeowner reached out?
They were actually there. The wife of the two
Okay,
homeowners were there on screen.
Okay, and
Okay,
so
thank
you,
you.
thank you. So all of the immediate neighbors have been contacted and are in favor of this, correct?
yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
All the immediate neighbors not only were communicated about this project, they received a full set of drawings. Also, all neighbors within 200 feet received communication of this project, and they have access to digital files via BZA. So there is no barrier for, and our contact information, the homeowner and the architect were in every form we sent out. So we have been very open and transparent about what we're doing and welcome questions that we haven't received until then.
Thank you. Commissioners, are there any other questions from the commissioners? Any
Okay.
other questions from the community? Okay, Commissioner Thomas, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, as we see, this has become more and more in community. Families are moving in with them. They're building extra rooms onto it. In this case here, this will be a apartment building where the loved ones will stay. They will not be in the main house, but they'll be there, and it's in the back of the house, and you'll be seeing more and more of these coming. I would ask my colleague to support the application at 4826 Eastern Avenue, Northeast Washington, so they can move on. They have a date, I think, what is that, November the 5th, if I'm not mistaken, with the Office of Board and Zoning Adjustment, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'm going to ask if we support this, please.
Okay. Hold on a second. Can I get a second?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Thomas, seconded by, who seconded? I'm sorry, Commissioner Bakum. Discussion, Commissioner Alston.
I don't see discussion now since you already moved it.
Yeah, you can't make discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is this a taxable piece of property since they're building another separate unit? And then I also kept hearing the word temporary right now. So once this grandmother, whoever moves out, then is that gonna become a rental property?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. This is all through the city, yeah.
Yes, there is the
Yeah.
potential that this
Yeah.
will become a rental property
Yeah.
at some point.
So they would be paying tax dollars on that?
They'll be paying tax dollars at 4826. They'll have the same address. It won't be any different address.
But it's two separate units.
It was still, but the city of,
They'll
has
be,
a
in-
special exemption here.
yeah, and there's one question from the audience,
Yeah.
from the online, Anne.
Yeah, I don't have a question about this project specifically. This question is more about the process for adding an ADU. Is this particular project going through the notifying neighbors, showing up at the
Yes,
SMD
so
meeting?
just clarify.
Let me finish. Showing up at the committee of the whole because they are requesting a zoning variance, or is that a standard procedure to do that kind of notification when someone wants to add an ADU?
We're not doing a variance, we're doing an exemption, which is a much lower barrier because we're not changing the rules. We're only asking an exemption based on the existing setback of the structure. BZA requires 3 modes of communications for neighbors. Number 1, adjoining neighbors should receive a full set of drawings that we did. Number 2, BZA requires to share the information with all neighbors within 200 feet that we did. And BZA requires that we communicate with the local ANC that we've been doing for about 2 months. This is standard depending on the type of project based on building requirements, but every project, because of their closeness to neighbors, they may have different requirements for, every lot and every homeowner will have different requirements. We have fulfilled all the requirements outlined for us by Department of Buildings and by Board of Zoning.
Thank you, Lynn.
I appreciate the thoroughness of that answer. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so just for some history, we've had 3 or 4 or 5 of these things that ANC has approved in my tenure, so this is not uncommon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said we've had 3 or 4 or 5 of these things in my single member district or in the ANC overall during my tenure here, so this is not uncommon. Okay, so Commissioner Thomas, could you please state your motion briefly?
I put a motion on the floor on this date that ANC5A approved 4826 Eastern Avenue, Northeast Washington, which is my single member district 5A02 for Mr. Brian Goldsman and their addition onto their home.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Thomas, seconded actually originally by Commissioner Bakum. Is that okay if we stick with that? Okay, thank you. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Elena, you and I will work together to get a letter drafted out, and we'll try and get that done this week. So thank you very much. I appreciate you attending.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I remain open if you require further information about this project before issuing the opinion in writing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
Okay, nice meeting you.
Okay, that includes 5A02 the day and motions I have any other program.
No, yeah, is that, you good? Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, we're now gonna move into 5A07. Commissioner Sosa Garnica has shared with all of us a letter of support for the safety of our schools. As many of you know, there was a significant incident at DC Bilingual Charter School not too long ago. And so I will let Commissioner Sosa Garnica share in brief what her motion is for.
This is my phone.
Yep.
Can y'all hear me? No. Can y'all hear me now? Can folks hear me? No. Okay.
We can hear you. I
Yes,
can
we
hear.
can hear you.
Yeah, the audience can't hear her, so just give us a second.
Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me now? No.
I can hear you.
Is the regular microphone just, yeah, let's see if that works. This work now. Sorry, I'm getting over from a cold, so I'm also a bit hoarse. I can read the whole resolution or just quick and
Just quickly, yeah.
In just a quick summary, as Commissioner Lucio mentioned, on September 25th, there were 9 officers from MPD, Homeland Security, et cetera, that are violently arrested 2 young Latino men in front of DC Bilingual Schools. This is in my SMD 5A07. There has been quite a few incidents of this happening, again, in front of elementary schools particularly. And in fact, there was another incident this morning that I was made aware of. This resolution, in short, asks for a few things. It asks for clear directives in terms of MPD's coordination with federal law enforcement and immigration enforcement agencies, clarifies what steps have been asking the mayor's office, the office of the deputy mayor for education, office of the deputy mayor for public safety and justice, and the Metropolitan Police Department. Clarify what steps are being taken to ensure that federal immigration agents respect sensitive locations and traffic safety in our community, including schools, meet directly with the school leaders to hear their unique concerns, reaffirm community policing practices that build trust, emphasize public safety, and prioritize local accountability, affirm residents' rights, and commit to additional training, retraining for MPD personnel on protected First Right amendments, and establish clear, consistent communication and guidance for all schools, and provide dedicated funding and strategic support to schools to mitigate the unplanned costs that are being incurred to enhance the safety and provide direct services to students and families who are being impacted by these ongoing incidents.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Sosa Garnica. Do we have questions from the commissioners?
I just want, please.
Yes,
I just want
Commissioner
to let you know,
Thomas.
I saw that, what happened, and it was it was on Facebook. I saw the whole incident. I saw how the Metropolitan Police officers actually performed. And what they did was, it's not what the taxpayers of the District of Columbia are looking for. They were dressed in full uniform, paid by the taxpayers of the District of Columbia, and there was no need for that at all. There was no threat. No one was doing anything wrong. And for them to act the way they act, even talk back. I think Phil Mendelson at this point is investigating that whole action of those officers. Those officers need to be held accountable. Those officers work out a PSA 405. We cannot allow that to go on in this ward or any other ward. We do not pay taxes for that kind of behavior. And what you're doing is absolutely correct. And it should be an investigation that they should be held accountable like anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. And just to put in a plug for PSA 405s, the PSA 405 meetings are monthly. If you do not attend those, please, I encourage you to attend those because that's your opportunity to communicate with the police about concerns in your neighborhood. So you can go to the 4th District Police Department website and find out the information for the PSA 405 meetings. Other commissioners, do you have comments about this? Okay, Commissioner Sosa Garnica, would you like to make a motion?
I make that, do we open for community comment or just straight to voting?
Are there any comments from the community on this? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple.
Okay, we're gonna have to bring a mic to you.
I'm sorry, the gentleman back there.
Yep.
Problem is, gentlemen, I have a mouth big enough to cover. I'm
we're having an event on Saturday, and a part of the event is a know your rights training. So it's open to everybody in the ward, but I think as part of what has to
Who are the people in the audience?
Yeah, I'm sorry, because the people on the Zoom can't hear you. Yeah, and we're gonna put on the captions so that we have those as well. That way we're universally accessible.
Pastor
Good,
Williams.
good.
Go ahead, Pastor Williams,
I'm
thank
Pastor
you.
Williams with Faith United Church of Christ. I was saying that on Saturday, we're having an event that includes multiple things, but one of them is a Know Your Rights training. Part of what needs to happen is that those are the kind of things that need to take place in the ward and around the city during this time that we're experiencing. So I encourage you to get people out. The event starts at 9, that training is at 10.
Thank you.
Thank you. You China.
Good evening. Thank you for this letter. To whom is it directed?
The question was, is to whom is the letter directed?
It's directed to,
It's for the mayor's office, the office of the deputy mayor of education, the office of the deputy mayor of public safety and justice, and the Metropolitan Police Department.
Hello, my name is Daniela Anello and I'm CEO of DC Bilingual Public Charter School. I am incredibly grateful for your attention to this matter. Our community has been incredibly afraid with the activities that are occurring outside of our school on a regular basis. We have children ages 3 years old attending our school, watching this type of violence happening outside of their home, outside of their school. Our same students and community members are the ones the most fearful for their lives on a regular basis in general. So the school is supposed to be the safe haven for our kids. We have 650 kids. We have an incredibly supportive and engaging community. I have felt that I have been screaming to the top of my lungs for the city to pay more attention to the safety and well-being of our kids. I have sent multiple emails and to the mayor and to the council members. I have spoken to the mayor myself at the Ward 5 meeting that just occurred last Thursday. And I believe that with your support, they will pay more attention and they will take this issue to be as serious as it is. So I thank you so much for doing this on behalf of our school community. It means the world.
Thank you. You are so welcome. We know this is a huge issue, not only in Ward 5, but throughout the city. And it is deeply concerning, especially for the reason you mentioned, that the young children who are having to witness this. I know that there are children who are there are bilingual children who are fearful to go to school because either they're concerned what the situation is going to be like when they get home, or they're concerned about things at school. It goes both ways. We are living in a terrible situation right now, and we certainly support you and what you're doing. So we appreciate that. And we feel for you and the children. Any other questions?
we have a comment from Lauren Sauer.
There's a comment. You want to share it?
Lauren Sauer. Speak.
Yes, Lauren, if you'd like to go ahead and speak.
Hi, thank you, Daniela, for what you said. My daughter goes to DC Bilingual, and it's just, there haven't been just 2 incidents. There was also an incident on October 8th in the morning at drop-off that my daughter and my husband witnessed on the way to school, of somebody being taken out of their car and shoved into an ICE vehicle, a masked person in camouflage gear. And I mean, it feels like we are in a different country right now. The level of psychological trauma happening for the families is very real. And I appreciate this because honestly, when Daniela bravely spoke at the meeting with the mayor last week, it was a very dismissive response that was received that was not on point at all. And we need to have real plans and real action and real boundaries that allow our children to come and go from school and our families to come and go from school without fear of having to witness these horrible traumatic events.
Thank you. I think most of the ANC commissioners in this room were at that meeting and we did hear that response as well. So we certainly concur with that sentiment. Commissioner Sosa Garnica, would you like to make a motion?
We still have 2 more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Vera Mihalis.
Okay, Vera Mihalis?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I'm in a class for human services and social justice, and part of my class is attending one of these events. And I specifically live on like Foggy Bottom GW's campus, which is Ward 2. And I want to say, like Daniela beautifully explained what's been going on, especially like, as you said, it's not only happening in Ward 5, it's also happening all over DC. And I've witnessed this on my campus with the National Guard being everywhere, with people getting deported at restaurants on campus and stuff like that. It's like, it feels very like eerie, even for students too, like witnessing this. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yep. Thank you so much for the comment. Is there someone else? Colleen. Did you have a comment?
Good evening. I am actually a school nurse throughout Ward 5, basically. And I can tell you it's not just affecting these kids mentally and, socially. Parents are afraid to take their kids to school, and a lot of kids aren't coming to school, but they're also not going to the doctor when they need to. They're not getting the vaccines when they need to because they're scared to take their kid to the doctor. And I'm not political, so I have no idea what to do about it, but it's absolutely traumatizing to the parents and the kids, and it's affecting all the schools all over.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Colleen. Thank you so much. It is a very difficult situation and I feel for everybody involved directly. Commissioner Sosa Garnica, please.
I motion to adopt the resolution on the safety, dignity, and protection of students and families at DC schools.
Second.
Okay, the motion was made by Commissioner Sosa Garnica and seconded by Commissioner Bakum. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much, Commissioner Sosa Garnica. Let me know what you need from me in order to get that out. And we are happy to support the school in any way we can. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Okay, you stop screen sharing this. All right, Jack, are you giving me update? Sure. Okay, so we're gonna give an update on where we are with the stuff with APCA. Commissioner Alston, are you okay if Commissioner MS gives the update, or would you like to do that? Okay, would you like to start? Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys, everyone hear me? No. No. Okay. Again, thank you all for coming tonight. Just a couple quick updates on the APCA. We have at this point tried our best before the APCA board, but it's become very clear that they're not willing to give us a free and fair trial. So with the advice of the Office of ANC's General Counsel and a couple private attorneys that we've hired, we are excited to announce that we are officially suing the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration for their failure to, one, properly notify the community about this. As we all saw, they had multiple play cards that were deficient, which is, of course, a violation of their own code. But two, and I think more importantly, which is their inability and their choice not to give ANCs great weight, which we are automatically entitled to under the DC Home Rule Act, specifically them trying to make us go through a petition route when we're required to be given the ability to submit comments that are given great weight. So we feel very, very confident about this. I guess a couple of quick things to clarify specifically. One is that it's not ANC5A that's suing them. It is individual constituents, namely a number of us that are on the ANC5A. Our lawyer did not want it to be a super, super expansive list just because of payment to the attorney. There was some trouble there. And of course, we didn't want to have everyone in the community sign closure agreements and payment agreements with the attorney. So there's a group of us from ANC5A that officially have sued the APCA board. I'll leave it to Ms. Alston. Of course, I assume that the community has many, many questions, but once again, this battle is long from over. We're expecting this to be about 9 months before the DC Court of Appeals actually rules on it, which on one end sounds sort of scary, but if we can get a motion of hold, it's actually pretty good because it would mean that the cannabis dispensary wouldn't be able to open for another 9 months, which in most cases that we've seen basically means that they're going to get scared off and just run somewhere else where they can open up shop quicker. So again, anything, Ms. Alston, and then we'll open it up to the community.
Yeah, and one quick clarification point about that. One quick clarification about the appeal is that the volume is up. Is that as Commissioner Hermes said, that we submitted the appeal in our own individual rights, not as the ANC. There will be an opportunity for other constituency groups in the community to sign on as amicus briefs, and we have spoken to the president of North Michigan Park Civic Association about the possibility of doing that when that time comes. Commissioner Olson, do you have anything else about that?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Jack Hernandez has, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we met with, no, let's get together, with, Council Member Parker, and we actually met with Council Member Parker to tell him about the problems that we were having.
Commissioner Olson, I'm sorry, can I cut
Still
that?
can't
That's the second item. We're just talking about the first item right
Oh,
now.
no, no, that's
So
the other one.
we'll do that in 1 second. So thank you. Commissioner Hermes, could you also talk about the motion for a stay?
Yeah, so sort of two things going on. Again, there's the fight with ABCA and then the DC Court of Appeals that would then tell ABCA sort of what to do. But we've recently made a motion of stay to ABCA that's still being ruled on that would basically say that because there's a case before the DC Court of Appeals on whether or not you guys gave us great weight, we're asking you guys to stay the decision to approve this license or to deny this license until the DC Court of Appeals case is decided on. Now, according to our attorneys, it would be pretty much common for them to approve something like this. This is common practice, common procedure. But then again, it would be common practice and common procedure for them to have given us great weight. So we're sort of unsure whether they'll even give us this motion of stay because they've been, as in our opinion, very, very bad faith throughout this entire process. So again, basically, the short-term fight right now is to make sure that APCA is not going to approve this license in the meantime while we're fighting this with the DC Court of Appeals.
Thank you. Can you just share about the letter we submitted to the city council, and then Commissioner Alston can add what she was going to say?
Yeah, so we, as a group, we sent a letter to the DC Council, basically outlining everything that had happened, not only in our case, but in so many other ANCs across the city that are just getting rejected from any sort of protest hearings. It turns out when we spoke, and I spoke many conversations with our general counsel, that we are not alone in this fight, that pretty much every ANC across the city has been having the exact same issue. But we decided, okay, well, if everyone's having that issue, let's take a stand right now and let's make it known to the council. So we had a letter that we drafted up and we submitted and we approved it at the last meeting, finally sent it just 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we got the council member support. So he replied to all the council members, just, so that it actually gets in their inbox and it's not just one of those, spam emails that they get. So it's been seen, been read. I'm sure Ms. Alston will talk more, but we went down to DC Council and we spoke with Councilmember McDuffie and Chair Mendelson and Councilmember Parker, and they had all seen and read it. So it is known, at least among the DC Council community. And it looks like Councilmember Parker is looking to do or call for some sort of accountability hearing on them, but I'll leave it to Ms. Alston to finish it off.
Yeah, and just to add to that, both the District Court of Appeals petition and the letter to the City Council, if they are not, they will be shortly on the website for your review. But go ahead, Commissioner Alston.
Only one other thing to say, we do have mayor support and she's working with us.
Thank you, Commissioner Alston. Commissioner Alston, you wanted to request protest funds?
We wanted to do another protest. We would like to have another protest, a couple of protests before it gets real cold, because we want to show everybody that we do not support the marijuana dispensary opening at all in Washington. I mean,
Okay, so
no,
do you have an amount you're requesting?
I think 500.
Okay, so the request is for $500 for supplies for a protest, including signs and other things of that nature. Okay. Okay, so the motion's been made by Commissioner Alston, seconded by Commissioner Hermes. All in favor of $500 for APCA protest? Commissioners, is there any discussion from you first? Okay, community, is there any discussion from the community? Any discussion from members of the community? Okay. My apologies for forgetting that, Bill.
This is an SMD 5A08.
Correct.
That's Elaine Alston's SMD.
Correct.
I live in 5A08. We never had a single member district to discuss this option. That's where it's going to be. So I say, you can't do it. You did not come to the community through the SMD. We haven't had SMD meeting in a little bit. So since you didn't do that, this is not, you can't vote on something. You didn't get community representation on this. Now, an additional, you spoke to the council people and whatnot, and the mayor. The council are the ones who caused the problem. They wrote those laws and rules. The mayor signed it. Now they're going to play games in the middle of the game. You know, we on your side, but you wrote that rule. It doesn't make sense. And another thing, I'm in opposition to any money being spent whatsoever on any kind of protest. I'm in opposition. Who is going? And I have a question.
Yes.
Is the lawyer being paid now? And if so, how much is she being paid? How much has she been paid? How much are we projecting she's going to be paid?
So I'm gonna let Commissioner Hermes answer that question.
So for the third one, the lawyer will and will remain paid, at least for now, $0 by ANC5A. We're merely giving money to her that is then reimbursed to us through ANC's funds that they already have for legal assistance fees. Like that. In terms of, I mean, I'm the parliamentarian. There is not a need for there to be the single member district meeting legally. I mean, usually it is precedent for something that we would do. In addition to the fact that there was one a couple of months ago where we had expressed, and there was pretty much unanimous community support that if we're going to spend, $10,000 on a community grant day, we can spend $500 on some sort of protest or something like that. But legally, there's no requirement, at least to the best of my knowledge, reading through the bylaws and ONC's guidelines, that we would need to have the single member district meeting ahead of time. Was there a third thing that I'm missing?
No, she's got a question, but while you're walking to her, I'm just gonna echo Commissioner Hermes's comment that there was a single member district meeting related to this earlier in the year. There was also vote on the ANC, and it was determined that the community was in support of us fighting this. So that's where we're at right now. If you have a particular issue with it, I would suggest you talk to your commissioner directly and also work with her to schedule a single member district meeting if you feel that's necessary. Go ahead, please.
This question is to Commissioner Alston. I know that we had a protest before. I wanted to know, were the funds spent there? And how were you going to spend this $500? Because on the last protest, I had to basically go up to Catholic U to get copies of flyers. So I want to know exactly what you're doing and going to do.
Can I have the mic, please? Because the motion is for.
Yep.
We'll make sure everything is covered. What happened is we did have over 200 or 300 flyers that we paid for.
Thank you. And
There was also a tent and there was also a sound system.
Yep. So we'll look to doing those things again, and then we will make sure that the flyers, that there's one version of the flyer, that the one version of the flyer is distributed electronically, and the one version of the flyer is distributed by hand delivery and posted places, and we will make sure that that flyer is accessible to everyone as well. So there is a motion on the floor. Can I get, I'm sorry, there's two questions. I'm sorry, I forgot. Commissioner Holloway.
Hold on.
Mr. Holloway, are you going?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was just going on as Sergeant at Arms to say that there wasn't necessary, wouldn't be necessary to have another single member district meeting. We've had several meetings in reference to this about the $500 that they're asking about. I think we just should tell what we're doing with it, and that should be it. Thank you.
Emily. Last comment from Robert, and then we're gonna move on. Mr. Oliver, are you on? Okay, all in favor of the motion to support the protest?
Oh, hold on for a minute. I finally got unmuted. Sorry. Two things. In terms of the signs, if we're going to protest the dispensary, which is coming, we should also protest the smoke shop that's already there and is already doing damage to the community. You have people coming in there all times of night, doing all types of things. They're bringing in a lot of trash, which is one of the things that we could tap the dispensary for, but they're not there yet. So I think that if we're going to go through the process of spending this money, then we should try to kill two birds with one stone. The other thing, the the sergeant at arms basically keeps order and not necessarily makes policy decisions. That's more so for the parliamentarian to do. So I think there's a little mix up as to what the roles of the sergeant at arms is. And lastly, I think that whatever documentation you guys develop, it should be shared with the community. There's a lot of knowledge out here in the community that can be helpful. People have experience in doing quite a bit of different things, well beyond any 4 or 5 people in the audience. So I think that sharing and making it known to the entire community would be a very good idea. That was attempted on the very first time when a lot of good ideas were given in terms of ABCA, and those ideas were ignored. And we are where we are now, I think, in part because of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. I will say that there was a small, we asked for volunteers from the community when we started this to create a small subcommittee to work on this. And so I think there has been communication with that committee. And we also have been posting on the website any information, any formal letters and recognitions we have. So we will continue to do that and welcome any involvement from the community. So thank you very much. Commissioners, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Okay, motion passes to support the protest funds. Before we move on, I do want to acknowledge we have some guests on our Zoom. Former Commissioner Gordon Fletcher is on with his class, his legal analysis of local state governments from American University, Washington College of Law. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight, former Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay, thank you. Shannon, did you have a question related to the? When was the lawsuit filed?
7. See, it was, let's pull up my calendar. Not last Thursday, but the Thursday before that.
2 Thursdays ago. We'll look it up and get it for you real quick.
Yeah.
It's which commissioners were on the petition?
Sorry, just for everyone on the Zoom. So it was filed on the 9th, and those on it are myself, Commissioner Lucio, Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Bakum, and Commissioner Alston.
It was because we were at present. It wasn't due to them not being interested. It was because we were present at the time. It is in front of me. Okay, so okay.
It wasn't due to disinterest. It was I was sick and absent. So it was who was able to be present for that meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, this microphone's working too. Sorry. Okay. 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 Thank you. All right. Next, we have guest Evan Goldman from EYA. Evan, there's a microphone up there, and we have your slides. As all of you know, we've been talking for, I think, 5 years now about the redevelopment of Providence Hospital. We are much farther down the road than we were the last time Evan came to speak. And so I've asked Evan to come and give an update of where we are currently. Evan, I think would be helpful to share with everybody
the status of things from the SHPTA perspective, because we all were involved in knowledge of that, where we are with the Attorney General, all of those little minute details, just to give people an update, since it's been a while since you presented, I think would be helpful.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucio, and the entire commission. I appreciate it. I'm here with Natasha Thompson from Ankiti. They're our partner on this project. You've probably at least I know most of the people in this audience, so you've heard us. You know who we are, and we're really happy to be back here. God, it's weird to be presenting and not seeing everybody on the video at the same time. Like, this is an interesting setup. I have to get used to it. So there isn't a ton of actionable stuff to present, in that we don't have a site plan that we're submitting imminently, but there has been a lot of behind the scenes work, as the commissioner mentioned. So some of you have heard this before, but in the spring, we did, or not we, but Ascension, the owner of the hospital, came to agreement with the Office of Attorney General on the valuation of the land, a $5 million healthcare trust that will be set up to support healthcare in the district, specifically focused on this ANC in this ward. And that allowed the project to move forward. So for 2 years, the Office of Attorney General had been going through their review in order to let the closed of, and they completed that work. I think it was in April. SHPTA, which is the state health department, which is DC's state health department, then went through their own process officially once OAG had made their determination, and they gave their support about 60 days later. I believe it was the end of May or early June. So those two things are really critical. The next step is that OAG is working with Ascension, the hospital, on a trust agreement. That trust agreement will manage the $5 million that is being put into an account for healthcare services in the district. That'll also call for trustees to be set up from the community to oversee the disposition of those funds. So it will not be disposed of by Ascension, it will be disposed of by people selected by the Office of Attorney General. Your council member is going to be involved in that process as well, to make sure that he is supportive of the people being put onto that commission. The board of trustees. But the great news for the local community is that money should be able to be used to create an urgent care at the Providence Hospital as it gets redeveloped, so we can bring back that use to the site. We know that that's important to the community, and that's something we've been focused on with our commercial partner, which has been Kitty Group. So that's the big news. At the same time, Providence Hospital they've been kind of on hold until they got through the OAG process. Once they got through the process with the OAG, they started working with Ventas, which owns the 2 medical office buildings that are going to remain on the property, that are already open and going to remain. And they're working with Ventas to get through the approval process through their lease with Ventas that will allow the project to actually move forward. So Ventas has a lease. As part of that, their utilities actually go through the existing hospital building. And so the reason this demolition of the hospital is so expensive, in part, is that we have to rebuild all of the utilities to the existing medical office buildings first. Then once all of the utilities have been switched over from the hospital to the new building, including new air conditioning units, new heat, new gas, new water, new alarm, new fire, literally all the utilities that you would typically think of in a building. Once all of that has been provided to the existing medical office buildings while maintaining their operations throughout all of that construction, then the hospital can be selectively demoed, but also not to disturb the tenants in those buildings. So it's going to be a complex project. The demolition will take quite a while once it starts, but Ventas is really key to allowing the project to move forward. Obviously, if there's the reason that we're waiting on submitting a PUD is simply if Ventas comes up with something that causes us to have to modify the design of the streets or the utilities or the project, that could impact the design. And so we're hoping to get a little bit further along. We've had 2 great meetings with Ventas so far. The Ascension is meeting with them regularly. Ventas has voiced their support for the project. They're excited about it. They're actually excited that their medical office building will have upgraded utilities, and that they'll be independent, be able to continue operating, and that in their view, a blight or an empty, vacant hospital that's been empty for, God, what is it, 6 years now, probably, is not going to be surrounding their medical office building for the foreseeable future, because that has impacted their ability to get for their doctors to get clients and into those offices. So that's all positive. These slides are the same slides I shared over the last 2 years, we haven't done a lot of update design yet, as I said, because of the hold with OAG and Ventas. But we are pushing in the next month or so to get through the Ventas negotiation so we can then come back out into the community, submit a PUD early in the year and move forward with the process. And we know this has been long awaited. One of the nice things is, I think this is probably the 50th time we've addressed the community in some way on this project, maybe more. And it's been consistent. We haven't really modified that much. We've kept to listening to the feedback we've heard from the community, and that's really impacted the design as far as setbacks and open space and type of product and the amount of affordable housing. All that's been the same. And so we look forward to being back in front of you all with something more detailed really soon. And we're happy to answer questions anybody has.
Thank you, Evan. So can you scroll back? I just want to share one thing. Keep going. Keep going. Right there, right there. So I just want to also share, as many of you know, the Kennedy School abuts this project, and which is also in my single member district. The Kennedy School, which is now called the Conway Education Center, is due to be complete at the end of this calendar year, and they are due to take occupancy the beginning of the next calendar year. And then shortly thereafter, they will be working on tearing down the old school property and building the 80 townhomes that we had approved. And I will have them come present to us as well as a single member district meeting to give an update on that project, because that directly impacts a lot of neighbors in the area. But what I wanted to share is you can see on this design plan, there's a space that's in green called the linear park. And so I just wanted to remind people that when these two projects were yet to be started, there was the hope that there was going to be some collaboration between the two. Due to a variety of reasons, they did not start at the same time at all. But we did get them to agree to connect the projects to provide more green space for the community, because as you can see from this image, the footprint of these two projects together is huge. And so one of the biggest goals, and all of the green areas are going to be green space, and there's going to be walking trails as we're shown on the pictures. One of the big things that we've pushed for in the community is to have as much green space as possible. And I think that both projects have done a relatively good job. You can't see on here what the Kennedy School has done. They have also provided some green space. They're going to provide a dog park and a play space area and some other things of that nature. But the projects are going to be connected, at least to the green space area. The other thing I think that's important to note is that both projects have worked with DDOT on their traffic plan for both of them. And there is not going to be a direct cut through of 10th Street, as you can see on this diagram. The school is actually, if you've been over on Buchanan Street, the school is actually right at the intersection of 10th Street. So if you drove through at this point, you'd be driving through the new school building. Right. It actually aligns with the alley. So I'm very concerned about my alley and whether we're going to get the same issues that Mundo Verde has with the alley by their school. But that is yet to be determined. So part of the rationale for there not being a direct cut through is to limit speeding and high-speed traffic, and to make it a little bit more challenging for people to be able to cut through the neighborhood. So we're going to work to continue on that and try and ensure that that is not an issue. Before I go to questions from the community, are there any questions from the commissioners?
Hi. Regarding not being able to cut through, I understand you're talking about traffic, vehicular traffic, but what about a pedestrian being able to walk from one side to the other? Is that possible? Because I think Carroll Manor has all kinds of, fence and gate, and you can't cut through. Is that still going to be the case? Or?
Yeah, it will be. So both cars will be able to drive all the way from Varnum to Buchanan through the property, but they'll have to turn. They'll have to stop at stop signs. There'll be angles in the street. So ways to make sure they're driving more slowly. And it won't just be a straight shot of 10th Street like it is on 12th Street. So you'll be able to drive through the grid and percolate through, but it won't be direct. And that's a kind of a traffic calming measure. But all of the sidewalks, pedestrian connections that we'll be building on our site, as well as the townhome site that Will Collins is building to the north of us, will all have connected sidewalks. So you'll be able to have multiple ways now to get from Buchanan down to Varnum through the property on sidewalks.
I will say that Carroll Manor is separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a separate piece. Okay, anything else from the commissioners?
I just want to say, I just want to say thank you so much for bringing this project to our neighborhood. It's really nice.
You're welcome. It's always nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Evan, for coming. Just wondering, like timeline wise, when you guys would be seeking, just generally when this letter of support from ANC, and then when you would, I assume you go before the zoning commission for this.
Yep.
Just so you know, how long out are we?
So in the ideal world, we'll be submitting a PUD early next year and asking for support next spring. We would, this has been a long time coming. So we think from a zoning commission perspective, the process will be a little bit quicker, a little bit less controversial. And so by ideally next summer, fall, the zoning commission would vote on the project, which would allow the utility work and the demolition work to start pretty quickly. So by the end of next year, our hope is to start on the site work, utility work, the separation of the medical office building so that the demolition can start thereafter. The PUD process, the appeals process, and the site plan process all combined, even once you have your PUD approved, is another 2 years typically. So the vertical construction of the actual homes and the affordable apartment building and the urgent care wouldn't be able to start probably until 2028. So that part is a ways away. That's something else. Once we get through all this other crazy stuff happening in our city, we can then work with the city on streamlining the time it takes to get your zoning order out of the city once you have an approved PUD, because that delays projects by 9 to 12 months.
Thank you. I'm going to call on someone on the Zoom, and then can you bring that to you?
And the young lady on
You,
here.
Shanna. So, Anne, I'm going to call on you first.
I appreciate that, Emily. Thank you. Hello, Evan. You and I have talked a little bit. This is Ann Doherty. I live in the 900 block of Upshur Street. I am hoping you can clarify this diagram for me, because the way I am seeing this diagram, this looks like you have placed the exit from this development directly opposite 10th Street's existing intersection with Varnum. Am I reading this diagram correctly or no?
Yeah, so the entrance to the project is essentially where the drive aisle is today for the Providence Hospital entrance along Varnum,
Okay.
which is relatively close to that 10th Street entrance.
Okay, but it is not directly opposite it. Okay. So you're gonna maintain that same entrance to the property where the existing entrance to drive down to be in front of Providence Hospital is now.
Pretty much, yeah. It's off a little bit, but very close to that.
Okay. Part of the reason that I am concerned about this is, and there's no nice way to say this, is the directionality of 10th Street. Lining those two exits up basically just turns our alleys into throughways, and we already have problems with that because people, they ignore the signs, and Mundo Verde can only do so much, and they're not available on Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm trying to figure out how we can make sure that we're not essentially just opening those alleys to through traffic again.
So, Anna, I appreciate the comment. I think what we need to do I am currently working with Mundo Verde on solutions. We've been in touch with DDOT. We reached out to Director Kirschenbaum herself. We did a joint call with Commissioner from 5B05, which is the budding SMD right there on the opposite side of the street, because we know that there continues to be issues with the alley. If you recall correctly, we did pass a joint resolution between 5B05 and 5A03 a few years back when Colleen Costello was the commissioner, to try and address some of the safety traffic calming measures for that area. We met with DDOT. DDOT had proposed that we make 10th Street two-way. The neighborhood said, no, thank you. So we did not make that two-way. We have put up signs in the alleys. That's clearly not helping. We are looking to take the next steps in that and working with the DDOT and so we are looking to hear back from them and schedule a meeting. I know also that the director of Mundo Verde Charter School is in communication with Providence Hospital in regard to alternative solutions for drop-off and pickup rotations to try and alleviate some of this process. So all of those things are being worked on right now as the things now. We realize that as the school continues to grow, which it will, and as Providence starts to develop, this is going to continue to get worse. And I think our plan is to continue to have these ongoing conversations. I'm assuming, Evan, that you will be working with, are you working with Grove Slade or somebody?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to offer their services as part of this too.
Yeah, so Grove Slade is the common denominator amongst all these projects that we work with in terms of traffic studies. So I would suggest we have a meeting with Grove Slade and the community to continue to have these discussions and find out what the best solutions are in
I
terms of
think that's
addressing
right.
this. Okay.
Yeah, once we get kicked off formally, we're having a board of Slade, spend some time thinking through the issues and potential solutions, and then they can help get with DDOT to move something forward.
Thank you. Uchenna.
Good evening, Evan. I have two questions. The first one is to clarify for the affordable housing component, will that be a senior building or will it just be for?
So it's roughly 100 to 120 units, and I don't think it's been decided yet whether it'll be one senior building and one more family building or a combined building with units for both seniors and family. But it will have units that'll work for both seniors and family regardless.
Okay. And my second question is, I'm sure you've explained this before, but what is the relationship between Ventas and Ascension? What is this lease? Why are you all waiting for this lease negotiation?
Yeah, great question. So, okay, so Providence Hospital System was purchased by Ascension way back. Ascension's a large healthcare company out of St. Louis. They owned the hospital, they operated the hospital, and they own the land. I think it's been 30 or 40 years ago, they did a ground lease for the land underneath the two medical office buildings, and a company named Ventas, which is a public company not related to Ascension, came in and built those two medical office buildings, and they own the buildings. They don't own the land underneath the building, so it's a ground lease. So as part of that ground lease, Providence has the right to replace the utilities for the Ventas building in order to separate, because they just always wanted to have independent. There we go. They wanted independence long term. So Ventas doesn't have the right to say, no, you can't do the project, but the way in the utilities are reconnected, the way in which the building is rebuilt, obviously we want to be a good neighbor and make sure they're supportive of that.
Good evening. Your turn. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andres Chonqui Torres. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to share, honorable commissioners. So I have had the pleasure of meeting Evan and the EYA team. I'm one of those guys that lives on 12th and Buchanan, who has joined this 50+ meetings. And I have 3 punctual points to bring to your attention. There's 250 of us from my block alone who are well organized and are excited about this development and are excited to just trust but verify at the same time. And so we wanted to make this a public testimonial of how closely we've been following in this 50+ meetings, the rendering that you guys see in front of you from the site plan design, and how seriously we take every single inch that we have negotiated and fought tooth and nail for to make sure that it looks the way it does right now. And so our plea with the board and with the commissioners is that when this gets to the final place for final submission, and we're there at the moment where we need to do our note of support, we want to make sure that there is a wide effort for all the neighbors to be able to weigh in a manner that is timely and in a manner that is visible, so as to not be like a meeting that people missed, but something that can be very obvious and could be reminded 3 or 4 times before we send this final note of support. And when it comes to the weight that this has on the community, the environmental weight, the number of units, just know, commissioners, that there are a lot of issues that haven't been resolved, but we're paying close attention to. Just as we speak every morning right now, everyone who lives on 12 will tell you that cars are bumper to bumper, cannot move, going to school back and forth. The amount of cars that are going to be flowing on Buchanan and on 12 is going to be so unsurmountable that we need to pay close attention and have the community weigh in on ideas on how we can resolve this. So I just wanted you to pay close attention to the fact that it's not just, the asbestos or the environmental issues that we want to watch closely once they start construction, but it's also the traffic weight on our community and the amount of units that are going to be coming into our neighborhood. But we're very happy. We're very excited about the effort that Evan and his team have put forward. We just want to trust but verify, and we don't want to be blindsided, if these little changes came up and the community, didn't have the buy-in that they were supposed to have. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Andres. So the plan is, and I have been having multiple conversations, Jack, multiple conversations with Evan about this project. So the plan is that we will have him come and speak with the single member district meeting. We will also have Will Collins from talk about the Kennedy School and the 801 Buchanan Street development, probably at the same meeting. And then we will also plan to work with Grove Slade as they continue to work on the traffic plan, because we do realize all of this is going to be significantly impactful to the community. So thank you so much for all your work on that. Any other questions for Evan? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Okay, hi, Evan. My name
Hi,
is
Kelly. How are you?
Fine. How are you? I had asked at one point during our community meetings regarding this, if you were considering building single-level homes for handicapped, disabled, and elderly citizens. Is that part of the building project?
Thank you for asking that question. So the apartment building will have single level and elevator access units. We haven't gotten far enough along on the townhome part of the plan to figure that out yet. And we've looked at whether some of the townhomes themselves will have elevator options. So you could buy a townhome with an elevator, and that might actually be possible in this location. And then we haven't gotten into see if we would be open to doing flats within the townhome part of the project either, but we can chat more in the beginning of the year once we have a plan.
Thank you. Thank you, Evan, for coming tonight. We really
welcome.
appreciate it. We will be in touch, I'm sure.
Yep. Thank you all. Really love
I
being with you
have your
guys.
number on speed dial. Okay, thank you so much. We're going to move on. We have Nick Kushner from the DC Office of Planning. It says on your agenda, Alex Friedman, but Nick has stepped in instead, and Nick is on Zoom. Nick, would you like to go ahead? Do we have a presentation from Nick? Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to put the slides up. Go ahead, Nick.
Great. Okay, there are the slides. Well, thank you so much for having me, Commissioner. So sorry I can't be there in person. But my name is Nick Kushner. I am a senior planner in the citywide division at the Office of Planning. And I'm the project manager for DC 2050, which is the project that I'm going to talk about this evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
We good? Okay, great. So you can go to the next slide. So just for those unaware, what the DC Office of Planning does, we do a lot of planning. We work on neighborhood plans called small area plans. We do corridor studies. We do vision frameworks, and we also work on the comprehensive plan. Aside from that, we have a development review division that works closely with the Office of Zoning and reviews large tract reviews, land unit developments. We also manage the state data center. So there's lots of different data analytics and planning that comes out of the Office of Planning, and we coordinate regularly across other agencies within the DC government. But a really big thing we do is the comprehensive plan for the district, which is what I'll talk about tonight. You can go to the next slide. So what is a comprehensive plan? The comprehensive plan is the blueprint for the city and how we grow into the future. So it really sets the long-range vision for land use and development in the district. It establishes our priorities, what can be built where, how it will look, the types of use of how we're using our land. And that this plan informs our zoning regulations and also the budgeting decisions that the mayor and her agency cabinet directors make every year as they submit budgets for capital improvements for things like recreation centers, libraries, infrastructure in the city. So it's a really important plan, and we can go to the next slide so I can tell you some more about it. Why we're doing a plan now. So some of you may have been involved. We last amended the current comprehensive plan in 2021. So that plan, which is still the plan today, was actually initially developed in 2006. So it's been about 20 years since we've actually kind of revisited the whole structure of the comprehensive plan. When we do an amendment, we're basing everything off of the plan, which was initially crafted in 2006. So we know a lot has changed in the district since that time. We know that according to our most recent COG forecasts, that we are still anticipating growth. We're well aware of all the everything happening at the federal level and kind of the uncertainty that exists today. We are closely monitoring that and will be doing updated forecasts at some point throughout this process. We're sussing out what the best time is to kind of complete those, given the uncertainty of a lot of the data that's coming out now. But according to our most recent forecasts, we are still projecting about 100,000 or almost 150,000 new residents, 175,000 new jobs. And so we need to think about how do we grow as a city to accommodate that growth so our housing prices don't rise dramatically? And how do we ensure that we can help those residents who are in the district today stay here and live in vibrant communities within DC? So you can go to the next slide. So here's where we are in the process. We actually launched this initiative in March, and through March, April, May, June, in the summer, we've been holding meetings. We had a series of introductory open house workshops and some build your community workshops with across the city, where we were inviting residents to engage in an activity where they design their own neighborhoods. We have been collecting feedback in this phase 1 of the project and are now transitioning into phase 2, which is about exploring how we grow as a city and our possible futures and what that could mean for land use across all parts of the district. After we complete this phase of the process, we'll move into drafting the plan. We plan to have a draft plan out for public comment by the fall of 2026, so about a year from now. And then we'll have a robust public comment period before submitting that plan to the DC Council. It gets voted on by the DC Council. There are hearings held at that stage, and then it goes before NCPC and the US Congress before it's officially adopted. So it is legislation that gets submitted from the Office of Planning through the mayor to DC Council, and then our anticipation is that hopefully by early 2028, the plan will be adopted and we'll begin implementing it. So we still got a ways to go. We are in a very critical phase of the plan today, which I'll talk more about. So you can go to the next slide. And this is just a little bit of what we've done so far. So I mentioned we were out throughout the spring and summer engaging with folks. A lot of what we heard was that people really value the diversity, the people, the culture in the city today, the neighborhoods and the walkability. We've participated across various different pop-up events across the city, partnering with community-based organizations, coming out to meetings and attending conversations that are happening in communities to try to reach those voices that maybe not always at the table for comprehensive planning process. So we've been very intentional about that. You can go to the next slide. And some of the kind of key takeaways we've heard from our recent engagement is that there's a lot of people do have access to their daily needs, but there are real concerns about east-west transit connections across the city and what that means for where people decide to live. We also heard time and again that grocery stores and parks and recreation were two of the main things that kept coming up as the most critical that people wanted close to their homes. 3/4 of people would love to stay in the district if they can over the next 10 years. And that a lot of people want to see a diverse array of housing that fits the needs of different types of households near to transit. So a lot of that's going to be what we kind of dive deeper on at these conversations that we have coming up this fall. So you can go to the next slide. And so we have 2 workshops that we are preparing for now that will be about a week and a half from now. So the first will be Thursday, November 6th, and the second one will take place Saturday, November 15th. They'll both be at our office, which is at 899 North Capitol Street Northeast, which is very close to the Union Station Metro, very accessible from there. We have a big lobby space downstairs with a lot of various rooms to walk through, kind of like MLK Library if you've ever been to an event there. We will have kind of an open house format where we talk about different approaches to how we could grow as a city, where people would want to see that growth, what that growth would mean across different neighborhoods, and then to engage around what other types of things people feel are important in their communities as we move forward into mapping what is called the future land use map for the district. So often people refer to it by its acronym, the FLUM, but the future land use map is a really important map as it creates the policy for what can be built where in the city, and is directly tied to zoning, whereas zoning cannot be inconsistent with whatever policy is captured in the future land use map. So we're going to start engaging around the FLUM, the new FLUM for the comprehensive plan, through an approach called place types, which is taking what were kind of more one-dimensional land use categories that we currently have and making them much more multidimensional across various sets of policies, so that you're not just talking about the building footprint, but you're talking about what that means, what the public realm looks like, what the connectivity to other spaces in the district are, and how people can transition across one neighborhood to the next, and what that looks like from a height, a density, a massing perspective. So lots to engage around, lots to educate on as well. I think we'll be introducing a lot of new content at these fall workshops. So really highly encourage folks to come out. We also have a newsletter. We have an engagement summary report from phase 1, which is on our website. In this deck are links to all of these things that I'm mentioning. You can watch a place types video, which is this new approach that I'm talking about. And if you go to the next slide, there is some contact information. That's just a good way to get involved. You can ping that DC 2050 email. Will go to me as well as a host of other folks on our team. So somebody will answer that right away. And I'm happy to answer any questions that folks may have.
Nick, thank you so much. I think there are only 2 of us on this commission who have been through this process before. One,
Okay.
myself the last time, and I think Commissioner Thomas the time before that. So only 2 of us. There's a lot of other
Wow.
committees on this commission, but I'm looking forward to this. So for those who are not familiar with the process, can you just please clarify the role the ANCs play in the process so that they know?
Yeah, so ANCs, as you mentioned before, have great weight through district policy, and so through the comp plan, we honor that. So it's similar to the last time. There'll be a public comment period. We will be asking for public comments from any residents, and we'll have a portal for which people can submit those comments. But ANCs are very welcome to submit letters, resolutions, kind of submit any feedback that you want in whatever venue to us, and we will give you written response to that feedback and take it into account and give it great weight. So similar to how we treated it last time, that process will be from likely around September when we release the draft plan through the public comment period. But throughout, we invite ANCs to participate, spread the word on all of our engagements. We'll have 2 workshops in the fall. We'll have another series of workshops in the spring. In between there, we're going to be doing some focused and targeted outreach in various parts of the city and partnering with community-based organizations to try to reach harder to reach populations. So also, if you have connections to various groups that aren't often out at government events or haven't participated in planning before and would like to, we are happy to connect on that. So.
Thank you, Nick. I do remember the last time having to sift through mounds of paper and mounds of piles of mounds of paper with maps and diagrams and
Yes.
data. And so hopefully it'll be a bit more streamlined this time with less killing trees.
That is our goal. Yeah, definitely not a lot of trees and definitely more streamlined. That is a key goal that we're trying to push forward in this new plan, is to make it clearer and more concise and more user friendly for everybody that's interacting with the plan.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any other questions for Nick? Yep. So I'm going to start with Robert Oliver online, and then we're going to go to you, Chenna.
Nick, quick question for you. What is this future growth of 100,000 new residents based upon? What do you see in your crystal ball that says that this may happen?
Yeah, so there's a very meticulous methodology that OP goes through, as all regional offices of planning do, that we submit to the Washington Metro Council of Governments with their cooperative forecast. So it includes things like projects that are in the development pipeline, projected capacity for growth given what our land use can currently accommodate, and then trends that we've seen in the market recently. So there is on our state data center website, and I could find this and send after, there is a methodology that goes into much more detail on that, but kind of high level, those are the things that it takes into account. So as I mentioned, we are going to be revisiting that forecast at some point, but we're determining still what the best time is to try to do that, given especially with the shutdown, there's federal data sources that are currently not being operated. Census is blocked. So there are some other factors at play that we are considering it as to when we can do that.
Thank you, Uchenna.
Hi, good evening, Nick. My name is Uchenna Evans. I have a couple of points. You mentioned the flum. I think one of the issues that we saw with the last comp plan update was that, to me, it seemed like OP just threw open the gates for anyone to suggest any and all changes to the comp plan, including updates to the flum with respect to specific lots. That's how we got the McDonald's that's being rebuilt with the drive-through for no reason, that DDOT opposed, that off OP supports. And so my question is, one, will this be just another opportunity for people to recommend changes to the flum that OP is going to say yay or nay to without giving any sort of rationale as to why you are making that, to why you would recommend to the council that they support those changes to the flum? That's my first question.
Yeah, so there will be opportunities throughout the process to inform what the future land use map looks like, starting in these fall workshops, because what we're starting with is taking the flum from 2021 and translating that into these new categories of place types. So it won't be any change in policy necessarily, but it'll be a translation of what was there currently into the new kind of tool that we're using to map future land use. So the map will look a little different as we start, and then we will be, as we work through iterations and get feedback, we will be presenting where we are with the flum along the way. When we release a draft plan and we have a new future land use map, there will be a process, as there will be for all elements of the plan, for people to make comments, suggest changes. OP will provide a report of how those changes were incorporated. We will be reviewing all of those and providing our justification for what was or was not included from public comment. So we want to be very transparent about how we are taking information into account. We'll also be with the plan when it's submitted to council, submitting a racial equity impact assessment. So looking at how our policy choices and justification use a racial equity lens to look at whether, or to look at how we made those final determinations as to what went into the plan.
Okay, thank you. My second question is, the other issue that I saw with the last update was that OP really only gave substantive rationale for comments submitted by ANCs. And I think that that is a deficient process. I think that there are individuals who submitted substantive comments that OP should have submitted substantive rationales for saying, yes, I agree with this comment, or no, I do not agree with this comment. Simply relying on the ANCs who often do not have the capacity or perhaps the knowledge, the expertise to weigh in on this process is completely deficient, and it's unfair to the rest of us. Again, I'll use the McDonald's as an example. OP just said yes or no to flum changes. Then that goes to the zoning commission, who says, well, the flums was updated to say this, our hands are tied. We're going to permit an upzoning solely for the purpose of a drive-through, which is actually completely incompatible with the comp plan. And hence we are where we are today. And it's because the ANC did not submit anything to OP, but individual residents did. And so I ask this all the time at every workshop I've attended with your director. I think OP as an agency needs to respond, provide not a rationale to, specific individuals by email, but I'm just saying in your report, you all should be addressing substantive comments that are also made by individuals and providing your rationale and your justification for either agreeing or disagreeing with those. That's my comment.
Yeah, thanks for that comment. I definitely take that to heart. I think, I think in the past, the office's approach has been, since ANCs are the local representative, our preference would be that community members try to coordinate through their ANC to get that into any past resolutions. We do have the goal of trying to present at all ANCs when the draft plan is out. So we want to come back. We want to be able to have this venue, have a conversation, hear comments in front of the ANC with residents when we have a draft plan to present. So definitely happy to come back at that point too and document all comments then. But thanks for the comment, Chen. It's a very good one.
Question, because we have one more presentation and I completely neglected to call on the council member's office and we absolutely need to do that. So please go ahead, brief as you can.
Thank you very much. I'm just curious as to some of the things that were put in the comp plan last year regarding faith institutions and houses of worship in terms of density. You're not looking to remove things as much as you're looking to enhance. That's my question as relates to now I'm wearing my enterprise hat as I talk about that.
Yeah, so I will say that the current comp plan is kind of like a basis or a starting point, but this new comprehensive plan will have a new structure. So it is not in the same way as the amendments are building off of what's already written there. We will be, as I mentioned before, trying to introduce a much more clear and simplified and usable plan where everybody can understand it. So policies that are in the plan that are supported, and we hear a lot of comments for them to continue to be in the plan, will likely stay in the plan. We are not looking to kind of do away with everything that is currently in the plan. That, as I mentioned, that's kind of the starting point where we're thinking about the policy that's here today. So hopefully that answered your question, but definitely continue to bring it up through the engagement.
Nick, thank you so much. We need to move on. We appreciate you coming today and we assume we'll be hearing from you in the future. So please let us know how we can help. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
right,
you.
we have one last presentation and then I'm going to go to the council member's office. So Calvinetta from the Board of Elections, are you on?
Yes, and it's Calvinetta from the Office of Campaign Finance. Can everyone hear me?
I apologize. Yes. Office of Campaign Finance. Got it. Okay. Yes, please go ahead. And if you can keep your remarks brief, we'd appreciate it for the interest of time.
Oh, trust me, I'm very brief. So again, my name is Calvinetta from the Office of Campaign Finance. I am one of 5 staff members in the Office of the General Counsel. But to just give a brief overview of the Office of Campaign Finance, and then I'm going to go specifically into the campaign finance public financing program, and then I'll end with that. So for those of you who don't know, the Office of Campaign Finance is designed to regulate and provide public disclosure and financial operations of those candidate committees in both the traditional private financing and the public financing program. We administer and enforce the campaign finance laws of the district, and we encourage voluntary compliance and ensure public trust in the integrity and financial reporting and disclosure requirements. The Office of Campaign Finance is divided of 5 divisions: the Office of the Director, the Office of the General Counsel, the Public Information and Records Management Division, Reports Analysis and Audit Division, and the Fair Elections Program. The Fair Elections Program is the most recent program that has been included into our mission and our goals, I think as of 2019. But the purpose of the Fair Election Program is to allow basically any and all individuals who are seeking to run for local office in the District of Columbia to be able to compete with those individuals who have already had some tenure standing in running for political office and also who have been able to raise the most amount of money. So we want to give individuals, or the program is designed to give other individuals who does not have that name behind them the opportunity to compete with some of the same individuals. But there are requirements for the Fair Election Program. Number 1, specific to the office that is being sought, excuse me, the individual has to collect a specific small dollar amount contribution from district individuals. They can also collect from non-district individuals. However, the money that is collected from non-district individuals will not be matched by the program. So the program provides matching funds, and those matching funds will be based on the particular office that they're looking to pursue. Typically, it's 5-to-1. So if, for instance, somebody was running for mayor, they got $500. When everything has been certified, and we'll talk about that soon, they will probably get $2,500 for that particular 5-to-1 matching on that particular contribution from a qualified small dollar contributor. In addition to the matching payments, some individuals will receive a base amount payment. And that base amount payment, again, is going to be predicated on the position in which the individual is seeking. And also, base amount payments are only payable to individuals in contested elections. So if there are two people running for mayor, there may be a debate process. Same thing for the state board superintendent. If there are two contested positions, there may be a debate requirement. Those dates have not been set for the election year of 2026, but they will be out. And I suggest all this information that I am spilling out today is also available on our website. I won't go into the actual dollar amounts for the matching contributions. I'm sorry, the small dollar contributions. That information is provided on our website. And I also believe, if I'm not correct, Ms. Dolores Ramsey emailed a copy of our fact sheet that if you wanted to post, it's not necessarily a post right now to follow along, because again, that information is posted on our website. So in addition to the matching payments and the the base amount payments for the fair election program, there's also a debate requirement. And again, that debate requirement is going to be offered for contested positions. Anyone that's running uncontested does not need to participate in a debate requirement. Lastly, I want to talk about how the whole filing process works. There are filing dates specific for the fair elections program that we also have listed coming up for the 2026 election year. Right now, left in this particular year, we only have 2 more filing dates, which we just passed one, October 10th. The next one is December 10th. But come 2026, there will be a number of filing dates in which individuals who are seeking to run in that particular election will have to file on each and every date that has been posted as a mandatory filing date. When an individual or committee, I should say, does not file their report on time, that is when our PERM division, which is the Public Information and Records Division, our Audit Division, or the Fair Election Division, will send a referral to the General Counsel Division, which is the division that I'm in which we will start the informal hearing process to enforce our campaign finance civil penalties, if appropriate in that particular situation. I will note that anyone who is interested in running for an ANC position or commission position within 2026, yes, you do have to file a summary financial statement with the Office of Campaign Finance. It does not matter if you did not collect $0. You still have to file a summary financial statement with the Office of Campaign Finance. And that information will be provided to those individuals, whether they won the ANC commission position that they sought or not. You still have to file it because our office is all about public disclosure and transparency. Once the Board of Elections has certified the 2026 election, I think it's within 60 days, the ANC summary financial report has to be filed with our office. Do not be alarmed. Our office, for those individuals who will be eligible for that, our office will send out a reminder notice saying, hey, you have to file your financial summary report with the Office of Campaign Finance. You'll be provided with all the information that you need. Our office is very friendly. We love voluntary compliance, so we are there to help. But I just want to let those individuals know for the ANC that you do have to file that report. It's a one-pager, and many people always say that they didn't collect any funds, which makes it easier for them to fill out the form because all they have to do is put 0 and just submit it to our office, and they're done. At this point in time with the upcoming 2026 election, really quick, I will let you guys know that we currently have 52 candidates. 51 are currently active. One has been terminated, i.e. me, because that person did not fit the threshold. And as of this point, 42 are certified. 10 have not met the threshold, meaning that they have not met the small dollar contribution threshold, and they probably have not been certified yet, which I forgot to mention. There is a 1.5-page certification that they have to declare, meaning stating that there are certain parameters that they meet and that they do not have any outstanding balances. Prior to coming into the FEP program, and just kind of declaring that they will file their reports on time, adhere to the rules. So that is not a requirement of the traditional program, but because of the public financing program, and but the government is giving them money to participate in this program, there are a little more constraints that are attached to this particular program. So at this point in time, when it comes to matching payments that we have distributed thus far, it's a little over 10 million. And as far as base amount payments that has been distributed, it's a little over 1.7 million. At this point in time, that's kind of all I have to cover with the overview of the Office of Campaign Finance, hitting on the public financing division, and also reminding the ANC people out there that they do have to file their summary financial statements with our office.
Yes.
Is there
thank
any
you.
questions?
We love those reminders. Thank you. In the interest of time, I don't think we're gonna have time for questions, so I believe so, but I know that for those online, your website was put in the chat, and so we can certainly share that with people here as well. So thank you so much for coming tonight. We truly appreciate it. And if we have further questions, we know how to reach you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
We have two other guests real quick to talk. We have about 10 minutes left. We do have a representative from the mayor's office and the city council member's office. I'm going to start with the mayor's office.
Yes, good evening. How is everyone doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you, Christina?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on tonight. I know you all are normally joined by Anthony Black, but he has just received a promotion in our office. So he'll still be with our office, but he'll be in a different role. So I will be taking on the responsibility for assisting Ward 5, continuing to assist Ward 5 and our residents. So thank you for having me on again. I was supposed to be joined by two other additions to our office. So we currently have just brought on a faith institutions liaison as well as a business liaison, and their role will primarily be to handle all of those business or faith related concerns. So I know you guys are used to holding those communications with mokers about what's going on at businesses and churches and everything like that, but currently they will hold that position of doing that engagement with residents on that aspect. We will be continuously staying up to date about what's going on, but that communication will go through them. They weren't able to be on the call tonight, but I'll make sure that I attach their contact information via the chat. So like I said, I'm working with Anthony to get up to date on a lot of 5A related concerns. I have been speaking with a couple commissioners as well who have been so kind as to just fill me in on what's going on in your top concerns. So I'm definitely working and will continue to work with 5A specific and related concerns. Just a couple quick, I know we're a little pressed for time, just had a couple overlying just events that's upcoming that I did want to make sure that were mentioned. First being Ward 5 Roll-Off Day, which is this Saturday. It will be from 10 to 2 p.m. at Trinidad Recreation Center. We're inviting residents to come and dispose of those bulk items that you wouldn't be able to dispose of like right outside your home. So that's furniture, old clothing, things of that nature. We've been heavily promoting this event, so looking for a really great turnout, and would love to see all of you there. And I'll make sure that I drop the link for that. There's a flyer as well. Next up, we have leaf collection. Of course, it's getting ready to start. It's scheduled to start on November 3rd with the end date of February 7th. There's a whole paragraph that I have here, I won't read it for you. I'll just provide you the link where you can access it, as well as access a map where you can enter your address, and it will lead you directly to the time that you should have your leaves raked. That link is dpw.dc.gov/leaf. And again, that is the link where you'll be able to find all things related to leaf collection. And I'll also, any concerns that you may have, I'm more than happy to assist and escalate those to our partners at DPW. A couple more quick things: Medicaid changes. If you do believe you have been impacted by this but haven't yet been notified, we're referring residents to the Public Benefit Call Center at 202-727-5355, or visit www.districtdirect.dc.gov. And again, I'll attach that information in the chat. And lastly, of course, our ongoing support for our federal workers. We're definitely with you all during this time. And that link would be fedsupport.dc.gov. And that'll be in the chat as well. And those are some links and resources that are ongoing and available to those impacted residents. So that's all I have for the night for the sake of time, but I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions or any concerns.
Excuse me. Thank you very much. I think our secretary is going to help you post stuff to the chat since it's not available for guests to post, but she will assist you. Quick question, and then we need to move on. The name of the business liaison, do you have that person's name?
Yes, her name is Mariah Colton.
How do you spell that?
Yes. Last name Coilton.
And
So
name is
she's
spelled?
been really great. We're super
Okay.
excited to have her on, and
Could you
she
say the first name again? I'm sorry.
Mariah.
How do you spell that?
It's MARIAH. So her email would be first.lastname@dc.gov.
Great. Thank you so much. Obviously, we have some business issues in this area.
Of course.
Hold on a second. I need to ask the commissioners first. Are there any quick questions from the commissioners? Elaine, Commissioner Alston, real quick, please.
I just want to thank you for helping the young lady that lives on South Dakota Avenue that was homeless.
Senior citizen.
The senior citizen.
Thank you. And real quick, I'm assuming that the information for residents who are not able to shovel snow, seniors who are not able to shovel snow, that information is available online at this point for the application?
Yes, I can make sure that you all receive that. I don't know that it's available yet, as they are focused on leaves right now. So actually, there is another link for residents who may need some assistance with raking leaves at this time. But I'll definitely stay connected with you about those different links.
Thank you. Bill, I'm going to give you her contact information because we need to get out of here. They're going to kick us out.
I have Mr. Bill's contact information, and I will definitely follow up with him immediately after this meeting.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Parker's office.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Good
everybody.
evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good.
If you can keep your and commit former Commissioner Washington, I see your hand, so just give us a minute. Go ahead.
I'll be brief. The important things, of course. So our next Ward 5 public safety call will be on October 29th. That's next week. It will be at 3 p.m. via Zoom. These are reoccurring calls, and they are a chance for neighbors to get updates on recent incidents, ask questions, and hear from DC Public Safety Agency leaders. As a reminder, we host these calls during the day to accommodate the schedules of the agencies we coordinate with. The call is always recorded and it remains on the council members' YouTube channel if you cannot join us live. And we will always share the recording and slides in the subsequent Ward 5 weekly newsletter. You can sign up on our website. Tomorrow will be DHCD Ward 5 listening session. It is rescheduled from last month, so you can join the listening session online at 6 p.m. Like Christian said, Ward 5 roll-off day is at Trinidad Recreation Center. It is this Saturday, October 25th at 10 a.m. You can bring trash and household waste collection. Last week, Councilmember Parker released a 16 bill policy package. It's designed to foster youth well-being in the district. This care plan was created alongside impacted youth, so youth from DYRS, youth at various schools in Ward 5, along with some advocates, lawyers, judges, and experts. You can learn more about that on our website as well. And then lastly, Councilmember Parker is working on a letter to ABCA detailing his concerns about their handling on ANC5A's protest of license ABRA 130766. He personally called the ABCA director to discuss these concerns and also raised them on a dais during the council's committee of the whole meeting today when the council voted for Director Mosley's confirmation. We hope to have more updates to share with the commission soon. And I can take any questions or concerns that you have.
Thank you. We will definitely be pulling up that recording to find that. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for doing that so quickly. Commissioners, are there any questions from the commissioners? Okay. In the interest of time and to be respectful, we have one hand raised online and we had one hand raised in the audience. I want to do this as quickly as possible to be fair to both people. So, and I don't know, is the mayor's office still on? Because I don't know which, is she still on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I'm going to start with former Commissioner Washington and Bill. I want you to summarize your question as quickly as you can. Commissioner Washington, go ahead. And if you can let us know who it's for.
My question is for both of them. Can someone find out what is going on with DPW and not collecting trash on trash days?
Yeah, we've
Trash
got
is not being collected properly. You have, and when it's not picked up, each individual household has to call for someone to come pick up that trash. So can one of you guys find out what is going on with this? Today was trash day. Trash got picked up, but recycling is sitting there. Now everybody has to call for the recycling to be picked up or wait till next Wednesday. So
Commissioner Washington, I can share with you that all the commissioners were sent an email about a delay in service both this week and last week with a rerouted schedule. And I'm happy to share that with you, but I agree with you. I don't know what the problem is, so we do need to figure out what that is. So Adriana or either one of you, if you can, try and find out what the root of the problem is and why it is delayed, that would be helpful.
And why residents are not being notified.
Yeah. As I said, all the ANC commissioners got that notice, but I don't think the residents were notified. So, okay, we'll check into that. And Bill, real quick, please.
Christina, it's a quick yes or no. Is the lady who's living in the tent safe without violating HIPAA rules and whatnot? Is she safe?
The mayor's office is in communication with her, as well as a caseworker that she's working with. She's okay right now. And we're, like I said, very aware of the situation, and definitely appreciate your concern.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Irene Stevens. Not only I'm a Ward 5 resident across the street, I'm also on the Metro Riders Advisory Council. Wanted to introduce myself and then offer an opportunity if there's any concerns about Metro, if you have better bus network concerns, any ongoing issues you'd like to report. We meet monthly, but also too that there's a direct channel to report back to Metro any concerns. So I can share some information to stay in contact because this is my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was not a question for either of us. I just wanted to make sure. So thank you. Okay, so thank you to both the Ward 5 council member and the mayor's office. We appreciate you staying on the entire time. We know how to reach you and we'll be in touch if we have further questions. So thank you. Commissioners, any other items of business of note? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I put a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting. The time is
8:49. Thank you. The meeting's adjourned.
Sheila, can you order the gavel?